over toward the Cuba area. So if you're watching here along, just along and south of Highway 339, Highway 94 over towards Sedalia and Cuba. These are the areas where we need to be paying really close attention to this storm right now. Let's zoom out just a little bit, and it does look like, as far as the Mayfield area, this is going to stay safely to the south of town for you guys. But this tornado warning continuing until 10 o'clock this morning here for the southern sections of Graves County. It really looks like, as far as Hickman and Fulton County areas that were in the tornado warning there, that is pretty much east of your area at the moment. Kind of looking at a couple things behind the scenes here, keeping a close eye on the National Weather Service chat, and at this point does not appear that we have anything confirmed yet, but I'm concerned here about what I saw just a second ago. Let me stop this here, kind of off camera, and turn a couple of things off. Back this up just a couple of radar scans. Right over here, this was about 9:17. This is where, right in this region, we had some really strong rotation develop quickly with this. And there was a little bit of a spike on the debris tracker as well. Let me switch the radar over to that mode just for a second so that I can kind of look and see how this is evolved over time. All right, so we'll go back over to the regular, the velocity mode. Right now, the rotation doesn't appear to be quite as strong. Now, there's something else that we're watching here, and that's south of Union City over toward Martin, Tennessee. We've got the potential for some 65 mile per hour winds. Now, this is elevated. This is much higher aloft above the ground, but over here, a few miles to the east, or to the west rather, of Martin, about 8 miles west of Martin, we're seeing some indications on radar that we have some very strong winds possible here. But our tornado threat right now is moving over between Cuba and Water Valley here in western Kentucky. We'll loop this again, and kind of keeping an eye on the chat from the National Weather Service. No indications of anything confirmed. Now, one thing I also want to make mention here is that this is a part of the storm with a ton of lightning, thunder, and rain, so it's going to be really difficult for you if there is any rotation or if there is a tornado. It's going to be really difficult to actually see that in person. So don't try to wait for any kind of, don't try to look and see if you can see anything here, because it's going to be rain wrapped, and there's going to be way too much rain and reduced visibility to be able to see anything. But it really, this scan right about here, about 10 minutes ago, is really where this thing just really pulsed up with some very strong rotation for a radar scan or two. Currently, the rotation is not quite as well defined as it was there just a few minutes ago, but still here until 10 o'clock this morning, our tornado warning will continue for southern Graves County. That's going to include those of us near Sedalia and Cuba. If you live in those two communities, let's go ahead and be taking shelter right now. You need to head to a basement if you have one and stay there for the next several minutes. If you don't have a basement, you need to head to an interior hallway or closet. A bathroom is a good option if it doesn't have windows in it. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. Get to the lowest level of your home. And aside from our rotation here, we've also got some very strong winds, kind of some outflow winds on the southwestern part of this area of rotation between Water Valley and Dukedom. It is possible that some of these winds here could exceed, possibly 60 and 70 miles per hour here in southwestern sections of Graves County. Again, our tornado warning will continue here until 10 o'clock this morning for areas of southern Graves County. This is a radar indicated area of rotation that is currently moving through sections of Graves County. Let's kind of go back for a little bit of a wider view and do a bit of a reset here. Let me switch it back over temporarily to our regular radar. That includes the lightning as well. So you can see that these storms have a tremendous amount of lightning on them. We'll zoom the camera out so you can kind of get a bigger picture of what we have going on here. So these thunderstorms extend from southern Graves County all the way down into Weakley and Obion County in northwest Tennessee. A reminder that for those of you in northwest Tennessee, we have some severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for you as well. This includes Weakley County, Obion County, a small portion of Gibson County as well until 9:45. This is for potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds. All of this is moving to the southeast at now about 45 to 50 miles per hour. These storms have really sped up over the past hour or so. You see that movement here blasting to the southeast here across the Local 6 area. So let's go back down here and check on what's going on in Graves County. We'll turn our radar back over to velocity. Again, I want you to look at all the lightning and thunder here in this area. If there is any kind of spin up of a brief tornado, it is going to be very difficult to see, and it's right in here where you have those greens and reds next to each other that's going to be our main area of concern. So let's go down here. We'll zoom in for a tighter view in Graves County. So far, we have not had any reports of anything touchdown, no confirmation. At this point, it looks like our rotation is somewhat weakened a little bit, but we've got some very strong winds nonetheless. Let's turn on our wind speed estimates and look here, right around that 129 highway sign. That's not too far away from Dukedom. We're picking up possibly 45 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Now, this is elevated off the ground by a couple thousand feet. This is not ground truth per se of what's going on right at the surface, but whenever you see 45, 50 mile per hour winds elevated, and you've got that heavy rain that's blasting to the ground, it can take that momentum and push it down toward the ground, and you can easily get those high winds that arrive there at the surface. So that's going to be between Water Valley and Dukedom where we have those strong winds. Again, I really think that our tornado threat, I don't want to say that it is over, but I don't see anything on radar that's as concerning as it was maybe about 15 minutes ago. In between Water Valley and Dukedom over here, this is where we've got the strongest of the winds. Up toward the Cuba area, Cuba and Sedalia, this is where the rotating part of the storm, at least the part that was rotating, is headed over in that direction right now. But again, kind of around Pilot Oak, maybe a little bit of a hint of some stronger rotation. Let me go back over here, and I'm going to kind of toggle between a couple of radar modes just to see if one shows anything other than, it really doesn't look like anything too terribly impressive there. This is the debris tracker, and I don't see anything here that's terribly concerning. All right, let's go back over to our regular radar mode. You see just a tremendous amount of rainfall with this. A lot of heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. One thing to notice here, I'll highlight that. You notice there's a little bit of a hook right here in the area that I've got circled in yellow. So there's a little part of the storm where it has a little bit of a hook shape right here. If we flip that back from regular radar over toward the wind, that's at least where we had some hints of rotation a few scans ago. But really the problem was about 9:17 or so near Water Valley, we did have this area where we had some pretty tight rotation. This is just to the northwest of Water Valley. This was at 9:18, and I'm seeing from the National Weather Service several reports of trees and power lines down around Hickman, Kentucky, and this was back around closer to the 9 o'clock hour when we had some very strong winds develop right here with those bright shades of red. So we fast forward this on to where things are now. There's still some strong winds here from Dukedom down toward Palmersville in northwest Tennessee. Within our tornado warning area, though, things really don't look as impressive as they did a little while ago. And I don't think we can say that we're completely all clear just yet. Sedalia and Cuba, we need to watch this as we move forward. We've still got officially 25 minutes left on our tornado warning. But interesting to see if we had anything back here toward Water Valley. Just mentioned again, we had reports of some damage back toward Hickman, Kentucky, multiple trees and power lines down in Hickman with very strong gusts of wind, straight line winds that came through that area. Again, tornado warning here until 10 o'clock this morning for southern sections of Graves County with radar indicated rotation that was detected about 20 minutes ago, and that has since weakened somewhat, but we're still keeping an eye on things here. And then down into northwest Tennessee, we're watching a couple of areas here of some strong winds moving through those areas as well. Right now, our strongest wind signatures are between Dukedom and Palmersville here in northern sections of Weakley County. Some of the stronger winds here in southern Obion, kind of around the Obion and Weakley County line, not looking as impressive as they did a little bit ago as well. But south of Martin, down toward Greenfield and Bradford, we'll have to watch out, not out of the question that some of these stronger winds could impact your areas here. And a reminder, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for another 10 minutes here in Weakley County down toward the Greenfield area. Dresden and Palmersville included in that warning as well. So let's zoom this out here and kind of give you a little bit of a closer, a wider view and do kind of a reset for you here. Farther to the north of the tornado warning, over toward Fancy Farm and Mayfield, we do have some heavier thunderstorms. Excuse me. All right, sorry about that. Been battling a bit of a cold the past few days. We do have some showers and thunderstorms over here into Callaway County. Those are not severe at the moment, but we'll want to watch that closely here. For those of you over in Callaway County, some heavy rain south of Murray. But again, our main concern here is in Graves County. If you're watching around Water Valley, things have calmed down, still some rain, but we had pretty nasty looking couple scans on the radar here about 20 minutes ago with some strong rotation. That rotation has since diminished, it looks like, and I believe that our tornado warning has been allowed to expire. It has. National Weather Service allowing our tornado warning here in Graves County to expire. They have canceled that. That storm has weakened, and the rotation is no longer there. We've got a report of several trees down near Fulton, Kentucky, as well as some wind damage around the Hickman area as well. Good news, it does look like these storms are beginning to weaken. So let me give you one more kind of a recap here of what we currently do have in place across the region. Officially, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect here for Graves County, and that runs until 9:45 this morning. That likely will expire on time. And then we also have severe thunderstorm warnings down here in parts of northwest Tennessee, also until 9:45. And let me move the camera around one more time just so we don't miss anything here. There are still some strong winds here in northern Weakley County up between Dukedom and Palmersville, but for much of the rest of these storms, it appears that the strongest winds are beginning to fade away. 9:45, the expiration time on a severe thunderstorm warning here for Weakley and parts of Obion County as well. With our tornado warning having expired, we will take a break here. We'll continue to watch these storms carefully. If we have any new developments, we'll be right back here with you on WPSD Local 6.